How would you like an extra $2,000 Social Security benefit? Well, take a look at this. Social Security benefit to increase more than $2,000 under this new bill. And to be honest, I have never heard of this bill before. This is brand new. I'll let you know what's going on with that. And it's actually up to $2,900 benefit with this Social Security bill right here. Also, with the COLA less than 10 days away, I'm going to let you know what the official COLA number is at the moment and when it actually becomes official. And we have the latest from Representative John Larson.
More than 40% of Americans, Social Security is the only benefit they have. They don't have benefits like the federal government has or like the United States Congress has. All they have is that very simple policy and a commitment from their government that they would make it actuarially sound. And instead, what they get is...
I'll play you the full video clip of what he recently said, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate these Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So let's go over this, the COLA first. Social Security's 2025 COLA is shaping up to be a double-edged sword. Double-edged swords are not good. So when it comes to this, superficially, a fourth consecutive year of nominal increases to monthly benefit checks looks great, but if retirees dig a bit deeper, they're going to find that they're getting the short end of a stick in a variety of ways. For instance, even though the prevailing inflation rate is at more than 3-year low, the costs that matter most to retired Americans haven't shown signs of easing. Compared to the typical working American, seniors spend a disproportionately high percentage of their budget on shelter and medical care expenses. On a trailing 12-month basis, the Consumer Price Index of all urban consumers, the CPIU, a similar inflationary measure to the CPIW, shows shelter and medical care services inflation at 5.2% and 3.2% respectively. As long as both of these key expenses for retirees are outpacing the forecast COLA for 2025, retirees can almost certainly expect a loss of buying power. So, although inflation as a whole is down, medical care and shelter expenses are higher than the COLA amount given. So the official COLA amount is going to be announced on October 10th, less than 10 days away. We're looking at around 2.5%. The number isn't official yet, but that's what we're seeing. And expenses, medical expenses and shelter expenses are higher than the 2.5%. So it doesn't really make sense to have this COLA adjustment going off of just the CPIW. There needs to be the CPIU and the CPIE accounted for as well. So when it comes to the COLA, not looking good. Social Security benefit to increase more than $2,000 under this new bill. Surprisingly, this is like a bill that I haven't heard of before. It's pretty new, and it could actually be as high as $2,900 under this Social Security bill. I'll go over that in a moment, but first, let's take a listen to Representative John Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to address and speak about the nation's #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and the #1 anti-poverty program for children, and the program that more veterans rely on for disability than the VA. Of course, I'm talking about Social Security. What the public doesn't know, but should, is that Congress hasn't acted to enhance Social Security since 1971. That's 53 years. A lot has transpired and happened over 53 years. And with 10,000 baby boomers a day becoming eligible for Social Security, it's long overdue that Congress acts. We have a proposal The proposal is called Social Security 2100. And that's exactly what it does. It makes sure that no one can retire into poverty. We have over 5 million Americans who have paid into Social Security and get below poverty level checks. Nobody gets wealthy on Social Security. The average is $18,000 per male, $14,000 per female. And as I said, 5 million of our fellow citizens are getting below poverty level checks on a commitment they made to their government to get the insurance. And that's what we're talking about here, is insurance. Social Security also is one of the most efficient government programs. Its administrative costs are under 1%. There's no other agency that does that and services over 70 million people. I also like to remind my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that Social Security is important because it impacts your district directly. Mr. Speaker, for example, you have 134,536 recipients. 95,000 plus are retirees, 15,000 are disabled, 8,756 are widows, and 9,942 are children. That's not the most critical thing, though. The critical thing is how much money comes into your district on a monthly basis. In California's 23rd, it's $213 million a month. $213 million, and that hasn't been adjusted since 1971. And what do these people do with this money when they get it? They spend it right back in their district, at the local grocery store, at the local pharmacy, to pay for their heating and cooling, to put gas in their automobiles. It therefore is a direct economic development plan for the people in this nation who need it the most. For more than 40% of Americans, Social Security is the only benefit they have. They don't have benefits like the federal government has or like the United States Congress has. All they have is that very simple policy and a commitment from their government that they would make it actuarially sound. And instead, what they get is doubt and fear, and the fact that the trust fund will be cut 20% now by 2033 if Congress continues to do nothing. It's long overdue. Why is it, citizens must ask, that Congress can't come together to take care of the very citizens we're sworn to serve on an insurance plan that's the most efficient in government, operating at under 1% administrative costs? You can't find another agency in the private sector, and I hail from an insurance capital. To administer insurance is anywhere from 15 to 26%. In government, they do it for under 1%. Act, Congress.
Gentleman's time has expired. The chair recognizes.
What are your thoughts on what Representative Larson had to say? Agree, disagree? So Social Security benefits, you increase more than $2,000 under this new bill. What is this bill? So Social Security benefits are typically paid monthly to seniors during retirement as well as those living with disabilities. However, when a Social Security beneficiary dies, their family members can also get survivor benefits through a lump sum death payment. For years, that amount has remained at $255 and has stayed that way since 1954. This is despite inflation pushing costs up for Americans on everything from groceries, housing, and healthcare. Funeral costs too have surged, which means for many the lump sum payment is barely a dent in covering any death-related expenses, according to the lawmakers behind the Social Security Survivors Benefits Equity Act. To be honest, I haven't heard of this one. So this would be a major step in aligning the death benefit with current inflation-adjusted dollars. Kevin Thompson, a financial expert, said this will help offset the average cost of funerals and other arrangements in the event of death. So this week, Senator Peter Welch proposed the law which would boost the death benefit to $2,900 to better reflect today's inflation levels. So Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren both co-signed the bill. So it looks like for funeral costs and all that, with this new bill, it would actually bring it up to $2,900 for the bill. Let me see what the bill is called again one more time. It is called the Social Security Survivor Benefits Equity Act. So new bill. We'll see what happens. It's co-sponsored by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and could pay up to $2,900. I'll give you the latest on what goes on with that bill. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, it's Bella tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. Do the things that scare you the most, because after you do that, you become a better person. Bye.
Social Security reform and increase, talking all about that in this video over here. You're not going to want to miss that, as there's also an important announcement from the SSA. So click that video now and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.